I'm Lauren with Pack Hacker, and in this video we're taking a detailed look at the ALPAKA Bravo Tote, which I've been testing for the last 2 weeks. Let's dive in. We're going to kick it off with the materials here. So this on the outside, this exterior material is their AxoFlux recycled fabric. It's like a 600D polyester. Bring it up closer to the camera there so you can see it nice up and close. The inside is a 300D cool gray honeycomb ripstop nylon lining, which you'll see when we actually get into the bag. But in general, the materials on this are pretty solid. So we also have YKK zips. These are reverse coil with the DWR coating. It's like the AquaGuard. And then we have the actual just straight up reverse coil on the top here. So we have a little bit of weather protection in here, not so much on top here. I didn't really feel like I was missing it. In general, these are really like decently waterproof or weatherproof materials. So in kind of bad weather, I wouldn't really necessarily worry about any of your stuff in here. But it is interesting that this only has this like AquaGuard on the front pocket and not this main compartment, because the main compartment is fully facing up all the time. But again, not a huge deal in my opinion. Overall, we have a 14-liter capacity to work with, and the outside is pretty simple. We just have a luggage pass-through on the back in terms of like additional features. We also have this pocket on the side, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But it is a really, really sleek look. I think this thing just looks really nice and professional. We have a small alpaca logo. This is like a Hypalon material on the side here. We've got some Bartex stitching on this pocket on the outside. And in general, I think if you are somebody who's carrying you carry a lot of stuff for your day-to-day and you're looking for something like sleek and professional, this really ticks that box. And it feels just really well made. These little zipper pulls here are kind of like a plasticky, it's not quite Hypalon, it's kind of more plasticky feeling than that. But everything feels really nice and durable, sturdy, and it just looks really good too. The harness system is pretty straightforward as well. So we have 2 top carry handles here that are just on either side of that main compartment, and they are really long. So just holding them up this way, you can see how tall those are. And you'll see when I put this on that gives you a lot of arm space when you have it on your shoulder. I primarily carried it this way because I thought it was just the most convenient to just grab these and go. They do just sort of hang everywhere, so it's a little bit annoying to get into the main compartment because they are so long. They're just like kind of always flopping around and in the way a little bit. But I think you're gonna face that with really any tote. So in the scheme of things, I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a nice soft like nylon material. It feels kind of like it's almost like softer seatbelt material. And then here there's not really significant padding, but you can see it's a little bit thicker here than it is on this side here, and that's a little bit of additional padding for carry comfort. But again, this is mostly going to be going on like your shoulder or something. I never really carried this in my hands up by my side. And then you can attach these are little gatekeeper clips where you can attach the shoulder strap. I'm going to show you the little shoulder strap right here. This padding is super nice, super significant. And then we have a really easy to use buckle on the side here that I actually never ended up using. I just found it was easier to just slip this thing over my shoulder or over my head every single time, but you could use that if you want to. And there are attachment points on all 4 sides here, so you can pretty much configure it however you want. This is the tote in crossbody mode. So this is how I would wear it if I wanted to just kind of throw it over my shoulder. There is an adjustment buckle on the front here to adjust length, and then an adjustment buckle on the back where that larger like quick access or quick removal buckle is. I like to keep that larger buckle on the back just because I think this looks a little bit more visually clean. But if you want that quick, you know, put it on, take it off type thing, you could definitely swing that towards the front. That's no problem. But in general, I found this really comfortable. The padding is like really nice and thick and comfy. And then with these zipper pulls, I just like to keep this top compartment, these zipper pulls right here so that they're easier to access. It was just a little too far to reach back here all the time. So in general, super comfortable either right by your hip or on your back. And then if you wanted to, you could carry it with just the top carry handles, which is primarily how I carried this thing. You can just see that there's a ton of arm space for me. So I just found this to be the most comfortable and easy to put on. In terms of secondary pockets, we have a couple of different options here, but they are fairly simple. So I'll start off with this water bottle pocket I kind of brushed by earlier. This has like this half of it here. I like this design. I think this is just kind of a sleek way to add a little bit of flair to a pocket that's just going to be hanging out on the outside of your bag. But that Bartek stitching is keeping this kind of like stretchier, slightly stretchier material in place. And then this is, you know, the usual kind of less stretchy material that's all over the rest of the bag. And you can see on the bottom here, we've got a little bit of mesh that's giving you some stretch to this pocket. You can see when I'm like pulling it out like that. With this though, it is technically, they call it, like say it's for a water bottle, or you can put a water bottle pocket or a water bottle in here. I find that you have to really like squeeze that thing in there. This is an 18-ounce water bottle. Anything bigger than this really didn't fit for me. This actual bag is pretty structured, especially when you have a laptop in here. So for me, trying to get it past, you can see there's like a curve. It kind of curves up because there's so much structure at the top of the bag where that zipper is. So in order to get a water bottle in here, you kind of have to like shove it into the, like almost like into the bag a little bit. And then if this whole bag is packed out really, really wide, then you're gonna have an issue doing that. So there is a water bottle pocket on the inside, which I'll show you in a second. So I'm just gonna set this to the side. But you could use this for like an umbrella or something like that. Or honestly, if you're not using it, it just hangs out on the side, really flush to the bag, and there's no problem. So for the most part, I just found myself not really using that pocket. A pocket that I did use was this front pocket. Another pocket I didn't really use was this back pocket. So this is really good. It's on the back panel here where that luggage pass-through is, nice and hidden, so you really can't even see that zipper. That zipper pull is kind of like dangling down a little bit, but this is a good spot. This is a passport-sized notebook. That fits in there perfectly fine. So if you have like flat, you know, documents and stuff like that, that's a good spot for that. Otherwise, again, didn't really use it, but wasn't in the way if I didn't need it. The last, I guess, secondary pocket we have here is this front pocket. So I did find it really easy to move these zippers along this zipper track, but when I had the bag on me, it was a little bit hard and awkward for me to get this like open every single time. I kept like I mentioned, I kept the zipper pulls closest to me all the time, because if they were on this back side, it was just like really hard to reach behind and grab it. So for the most part, left them on that side there. And then on the inside, you have a ton of storage. So we have two mesh slip pockets on the front panel, and then we have two liner pockets plus two pen slots. And then the rest of this space is pretty much ready to pack as you please. I've got like you can see this pocket's pretty big. I have a little speaker in there. And then other than that, I really just use this for like quick grab items like sunglasses, my wallet, something like that. Because the more that you have in the main compartment, it will start to cut into this compartment space. And so I found that if I put way too much in here, it just felt a little bit too crammed, especially when I wanted to access my keys. This key leash is nice and long, which is great because you don't actually have to, I was able to open up my doors without taking the keys off. However, this is their little like mod key tether, and it's magnetic, super easy to take off. So honestly, if the key leash was a little bit shorter, I probably wouldn't have minded, just because it is so easy to take off when I do want to get access to my keys. So I did really like that. I think that this pocket was pretty nice and accessible, and it is fairly roomy. You just have to be a little bit careful how you're packing out that main compartment, or else you can start to really get like crunchy on that space if you have larger tech items in there. If you're finding this video helpful, hit subscribe so we can keep making content to help you travel smarter. So we're gonna get into this main compartment here. You can see right out the gate, one of my larger issues that I had with this was getting access to this main compartment was largely blocked by where you have the shoulder strap attached. So in this case, I had it like on either side here. You could theoretically, I'm going to undo that gatekeeper clip. You could theoretically have the bag attached just fully on one side, and then you wouldn't run into that same issue. So it's kind of up to you. But because I found myself largely using these shoulder straps, I just would remove this like kind of crossbody carry entirely so that it wouldn't get in my way. So it's not that big of a deal. Worth noting though, just kind of find the way that works best for you. The other thing with these zipper pulls, you can see, I'm gonna kind of tip the bag this way. You can see it kind of like bows out this way. And this is just a product of what I currently have in there. Also, I was shoving the water bottle in there so often. But it is pretty stiff right here. And that's where that zipper pull is attached, or zipper track is attached. You can see it kind of like bows out a little bit and then goes down here. What's nice about that is it just kind of like tucks the zipper pulls away. The bad part is that for me, a lot of the time they would just get like stuck in that little spot. And of course it's always very difficult to try and like show you on camera. But when it was on me and I was trying to get access to those zipper pulls, it just felt a little bit clunky. So I didn't really love that, but once I got them into a position that I got really used to just like opening and closing, it was a little bit better. So that's good. We also have this like amount of fabric that's covering the top here, allows the bag to be wide at all times and just kind of like keep its nice straight shape, instead of just like if the zipper pull was just attached or the zipper track was attached here, you would kind of get this like triangular shape that would be a little bit harder to put gear loaded up top. So in this case, it was nice because I could put really tall items up here, and this little fabric gusset would just, like, let's say, you know, my item ended right here, this gusset would cover it completely. So I think they really did a good job with those really small design details in here. And there is a good amount of space. So you can see this stands up on its own. I have a packing cube, and then I have just like a toiletry pouch filled with some stuff. I could throw that over there. This is what they call like their self-standing design. So you can see that you have so much room on the base there. Here, any of this material is coming from this side water bottle pocket. So if that's not full, that kind of tucks out of the way. And then this is the water bottle pocket that I primarily used. So like I said, 18-ounce bottle, you still have a decent amount of space. I think I was able to fit like a 24-ounce bottle in there as well. Or like a large 40-ounce bottle if you just put it in this like main storage area. So that's pretty solid. Don't love that it's like right next to my laptop, just because it's nice to have that like separation just in case of like water damage. But it's not really the end of the world. It does feel pretty secure in that pocket. Just make sure you close your water bottle correctly. And then we have this laptop sleeve. So this fits up to a 16-inch MacBook Pro in the back. So I have that back there. It's like fleece lined, nice and comfy. This is a really like stiff panel that if you're not using it, sits really flat against the back there, but it does add some decent structure and protection for your laptop. And then some gusset there for some additional room. This is a tablet sleeve right on the front there. I can actually fit an additional 13-inch laptop there. So you do have a decent amount of space. This strap is a little bit overkill. It's a little bit taller than you actually need with that Velcro. So I just kind of tightened it as far down as possible, and then it was pretty solid. But you do have some additional pocket storage in here as well, which works just kind of like you would expect pockets to work. There was nothing really like crazy notable on the inside. I think just what this bag does really well is it has so much room, and because it has such a structured base and then so much room at the top, and it's almost like you pack it rectangularly, it's really easy to stack items. So, you know, you can stack cubes on top of each other, excuse me, or additional layers or something like that. And that made it easy to really load this thing up for everyday carry. So there you have it, the ALPAKA Bravo Tote. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel, and we'll see you in the next one.